Well, hello, fellas. Good evening. How
Howdy,
y'all
howdy,
doing?
howdy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's a
What's
big one
happening?
tonight. It's been, I guess, it was what 2 years ago. Tomorrow evening, we did our first
Yeah.
live stream together, us and a bunch of other fellas, and that's, I guess, where it was kind of boring. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. I'd like to welcome everybody onto the chat here tonight. We appreciate you being here. I know it's a busy time of the year. We all are going through that now, and the next couple of weeks are going to be crazy leading up to the conference. And just excited to be here tonight, and glad you could all join us tonight. So I thought we'd talk out tonight, guys. I thought we'd start off tonight, guys, just talking a little bit about our individual situations with the bees. There may not be much going on with the actual bees, but kind of what's going on in our individual spots, our individual situations. Greg, I know you're probably the busiest of all right now with all the stuff you're trying to get together. And Brian, I know you're quite busy too. So Brian, why don't we start off with you? Just tell us what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Well, I haven't looked at the bees.
Yeah, you've been busy with some other stuff.
I was meaning to go check them the other day, and
Mhm.
I drove over to the farmer's property and pulled the outer covers off, looked
Mhm.
down, they're chewing away on the fondant, and I thought I don't need to look at anything else. So, and it gets dark so darn early that for me to go over to the main apiary and check on them,
Mhm.
I figure I'll see them over the weekend. So that's when I'll check. I think going over to my mom's Sunday, so I'll probably just go through and check on each of them and just make
Mhm.
sure they're alive then. And I think I'm going to take my thermal camera with me just to see if I can kind of get some initial readings and see where the clusters are at and things like that.
Mhm.
But like right now up here, yesterday we had almost 2 inches of snow. I woke up to, so
Wow.
there's just not much going on. I mean, you know, it's pretty much just sit and wait until it gets warm. So
Yeah, we didn't have snow here. So I
yeah,
missed
and
that.
I'm surprised that we didn't get this text message of this flag with a nice sunset and stuff like that.
Mm.
So
No, it's been a little chilly, and I've been at work. Of course, I get home, it's dark. But we did
yeah,
have a really nice sunset tonight. As I was driving home, it was kind of going down over the western horizon a little bit. But
yeah,
anyway, yeah, it's been it's been kind of
yeah,
pretty down here. It's a little chilly, but it's that's okay. It is January or December after all.
yeah.
Greg, what about you?
We're busy getting things ready for the biggest bee show that I know, the North American Honeybee Expo down in Louisville, Kentucky, this January 4th through 6th. So we're busy just getting boxes built, get the dipping going, and just starting to get all the big orders palletized and work on getting those shrink wrapped for the semi truck to come to pick everything to take down to the show. So we're just kind of in go mode, just work through every day the list of things to do. And I know I've said this a million times over, but it feels like every week, this is supposed to be for a lot of folks is kind of the time of rest on the farm, or at least where you get a time to reflect and contemplate. Right now, this is probably the one of the busiest months of the year, and you feel like every week when we get up and have those morning and weekly meetings, it's the same thing we say over and over again. We just have to get through this week in order to get easier, and we end up saying that every single week of the year. But
Yeah.
this is our dig in time, and so it's a real challenge as a large family to be around the Thanksgiving, Christmas time, New Year's to be able to make sure that we're spending all the right amount of time in the right places. But that's what we're about here, is just getting these orders ready, getting them ready to go on the truck, and then looking forward to seeing everybody down. We'll be at booth 200, Nature's Image Farm, along with the stream team, and the Nature's Image podcast studio will be set up there at booth 200. It's going to be so cool. There are so many things I just want to talk about that. Nature's Image Farm will have a brand new product to unveil. Really excited about that. There's going to be several other new product releases revolving around Larabi's, which we have a fun interactive booth kind of all set up, and then we're cat a corner from our friends at Premier, and then also just kind of cattywampus to or catty corner to Highest for Heroes. So it's going to be a great time, and then of course we'll have Jason Crook and Brian at Queen Right Dial. So it is going to be a happening place. That block of vendors is going to be, I think, where a lot of the action is going to be. Brian, we're going to have some. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but stay tuned later in this broadcast tonight. Brian's got the list
here.
Look at that. We've got a super cool thing that we're doing within the podcast booth. We'll talk about it later, but you do not want to miss out on some really neat opportunities.
Yeah.
But anyways, on top of that, it's just package sales are coming in, and so we're getting everything organized and ramped up. So I'd encourage folks, if you are not even if we have some folks that drive 12, 14, 16 hours to come pick up packages. If you would like to support Nature's Image Farm and you're looking for package bees or nukes, you can go right to our website, naturesimagefarm.com. We're taking orders now, and those spots are starting to fill up. And so we appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight to Bruce's channel, Brian's channel, the Nature's Image channel. You guys are awesome to make all this happen. But so we'll go from the frozen north down to Dothan, Alabama. Bruce, what's going on with you and your bees in your neck of the woods?
Well, I had the opportunity this past weekend to try out the instant vape, whatever you want to call it, compact. And that's quite a machine. It's so much more simple to use than the original instant vape. Really, the function of it is very similar. It's just about as fast. It's very, very similar, but just the ease of use is awesome. And so I actually was able to, and I've got a video, I'm finishing it up. It probably drop tomorrow sometime, but hopefully, but I figured out it's very, very fast if you got two of those things. So I knocked out a bunch of colonies in a hurry on Saturday. I went out and I just started sticking those things in hives. You got them both rolling at the same time. It's about as fast as you can put one in. The next one goes in, and it is so very fast. And so I'm really a believer in those products. I think they're really good. And so that's what I'm doing, I guess, right now, bee wise. I went up to Ozark and kind of peeked in a little bit. Didn't really peek in much, but the bees seem to be doing pretty well up there. I think that hopefully me smashing all the high beetles I did in that last video helped the bees get the upper hand. I was encouraged by what I saw up there as I was treating them with the OAV. I didn't really go in them much at all, but I think they're going to do okay. Hopefully we'll end up with some nice strong colonies up there. But I was able to use those machines, and that was my main goal. Now I'm just trying to hit the mites with the oxalic acid vapor. It's the time of the year to do that right now if you're going to do it in this area, I think, because we never completely brood down, but they do have less brood right now than any other time of the year probably. Well, I'll tell you what, 1st of January hits are really coming right up, and they start building back the other direction. So we are just right there on it. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Did you find that there was much difference as far as battery usage from the original instant vape to the compact?
I didn't really find any. I didn't notice any. I wasn't really paying that close of attention. It's a little difficult. Well, it's not difficult, but it's different because the instant vape doesn't have the voltage meter. So you can't really tell how quickly it's running down. You just kind of have an indication when it's getting there, and then when it kind of stops.
That LED light.
Yeah, but it's so easy, man. It's so easy to use. Yeah. But I got through, I don't know, probably I treated most of my colonies with, I had 3 6 amp hour and then the 2 9 amp hour batteries, and I got through, and I still had some battery left. I didn't get some of the bee yards I treated a month or two ago. I didn't really do those, but I did do I did those Ozark, I did Slocum, Appleton Farms, and then of course I did the ones at Honey Hill that are going to be in the video. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And as far as like anything else, that's about it. Just trying to get that video together and just kind of, I haven't been as busy as you guys have been as far as like trying to get ready for the conference. I'm just going to show up, and what you see is what you get. I'm not bringing anything really. I'm just going to kind of come there and hang out with you guys, maybe watch a couple of talks, and then meet folks that are here in this chat and other folks that may watch the channel, and just fellowship and have a good time. And so before we move on to the next topic, though, I would like to welcome everyone in here once again. Those that are jumping on here a little bit later, see a lot of familiar names in here. There's no way I can name everybody. We got Seth Hill's on here. Of course, we got a lot of folks I recognize. Keith Spillman, We got Brian Lee on here, which I thought Brian had his birthday dinner tonight. Maybe
it was today. It was his birthday.
yeah, maybe he's catching a little bit of this here. Yeah, he's been one of our most diligent watchers over the past couple of years. Stan Gore's on here. Was in communication with him over the last couple of days a little bit about some Christmas stuff. We got Ricky Rourke, Horizontal Bees, just a lot of people. There's no way I can name everybody, but just we really appreciate you guys being on here. Yeah, Joseph Rawls. I mean, could go down the list and just name so many people.
Hey, Greg, do you want to talk real quick since Bruce just said meet people? Do you want to talk real quick and let everybody know what's going to take place?
Sure.
Let's do it. Booth.
Yeah.
The podcast booth.
Absolutely. We've got a growing list. What we tried to do, or what we're doing different this year than we have in years past, is in years past at the Nature's Image Farm booth. Of course, we have the podcast studio set up, and it wildly grew out of control, where it was nearly just complete chaos, where we would have so many great names in beekeeping, folks that we wanted to fellowship with. We ended up spending so much time behind a mic. You're on, you're off, you're on, you're off, you're on and off, and it just creates this massive roller coaster. So what we are doing this year is actually having scheduled guests throughout the B Expo to come and sit down with us. We'll make that schedule known publicly. So if you want to come visit with us and our guests at our booth, you can come hang out and hear and be a part of that too. That's going to be really awesome. There's so many folks that I know that we're looking forward to sitting down with, but some of the ones that I'm really excited about to sit down with, I know Bruce and Brian, you guys know a lot of these names, but I know we'll have Blake Shook will be visiting the podcast booth. So that'd be fun to sit down with Blake and just kind of get to know him a little bit better and hear a little bit more about his story. We're going to sit down with one of the most tremendous lighthouses in our beekeeping journey, and that is Mr. Chris Werner. Really looking forward to sitting down with Chris. We've got Cameron Jack. He's going to get on, and Cameron is a wealth of knowledge pertaining to OA and the usage. Excited about Marla Spivak will be visiting the podcast booth. And as you guys know, Marla is, along with some other folks that will be there, are the leading experts in propolis and what that really means for the health of the bees. So that is going to be awesome to sit down and spend some time with her. We've got our buddy coming all the way from France, Richard Knoll, will be visiting and sitting down with us. That's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, Cayman Reynolds will spend some time with us, and also Lawrence Edwards. So I think there's going to be a lot of folks who we're looking forward to spending time with a lot of the folks that we normally would, but it's fun this year to bring in some new folks to kind of hear kind of what they're up to. And so Brian's done a great job of helping out with that. What do you guys think about that, having a more of a scheduled approach with these guests?
Well, I like the idea of it, and I'd like to be interested to see what people say in the chat here. That way people can kind of schedule if they want to combine and hang out with us a little bit, and they won't have to kind of stand around, just wait for stuff to happen. And I think it'll be easier too for us to do what we have to do or what we want to do as well, and not just try to get away and come back. And it'll be a lot more organized, I think, for both us and everyone else.
Yep. Yeah, that was my thought as well. I mean, last year, it was funny because Dirt Rooster put out a video today, and it was of the conference last year.
Oh, wow.
And he caught me right as I was walking in, and he was like, "Hey, you just getting here?" I said, "Yeah, I just drove in," and I looked hit.
Dead to the world.
Yeah, you were.
That was before the 8 monsters that it took to prop you up behind a mic.
Yeah, and that was before going down, and it was just, I think mad chaos that entire Saturday morning, and just people funneling through, and it's like, man, I got to go run to the bathroom. Oh, well, there's so-and-so here. Let's get real quick. Yeah. So a structured schedule I think is going to be huge. Just, and then you figure with basically the list that we have, it's the VIPs.
Right.
So, and the VIPs, they'll be, like Marla and Cameron and everybody's probably going to want to chat with Cayman for a second as well. But to be able to just sit and have a candid conversation with them, yeah, you can hear them talk, but to be able to sit down and just have that conversation, that's going to be awesome. It's just really going to be awesome. So,
it'll be fun. I definitely like the idea of the more structured schedule for us. I think that'll be good, and for the viewers as well. So
yeah,
it'll be fun.
I mean, I to the stream team thing, because we started off just like this. It's really just, it was a kind of a beekeeper hangout. Let's talk about bees, see where it goes. And if you guys remember, it was the Hive Life just months after we had really, or maybe a month after we had the informal start of it. Folks were, coming up to all three of us and saying, wow, you guys, you should do that on every single week. And the kind of the outpouring of love and appreciation for just the three of us doing what we do was just so overwhelming that we said, okay, we've got to, let's keep on with this and see where it goes. And can you believe it? Here we are 2 years later.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have heard this story before, but it just kind of was odd how it all came together. I really didn't know who you were, Greg. I'd heard of Brian, and I'd kind of had a tug to do some live streams that year. I guess that 2021 was it? Yeah, 2020 actually, I guess. Anyway, 2020. Anyway, it was 2 years ago now, so it would have been December 2021. That's right. So, and I had done a couple in that spring, and I know many have heard that story before, but if those who haven't, here's kind of how we got started up. So, I was, what was the guy's name? Brian Carlton over in North Carolina. He had a YouTube channel for a while called Backyard Bees North Carolina or something like that. And he was awesome. He was so funny. And we started talking, and he's like, now, Bruce, now you need to do some live streams. He's like, that's the way to go. And he was working on getting his 1,000 subscribers. And we kind of talked back and forth a little bit. And he said, I'm like, man, I don't know. And he was actually a moderator on my first couple I did that spring, just on my phone. I had no idea what I was doing. And, but then he said, hey, there's this guy, Castle Hives, he does live streams all the time. He's like, you need to reach out to him or whatever. And so I did, but I've been thinking about it for several months, and I can't remember the order of things. I think Greg actually reached out to me a couple of weeks before then maybe and said, hey, are you going to be at the conference? And I said, yes, I am. And he's like, well, would you like to sit down and do a podcast with me? And I'm like, well, sure. And so we had agreed to do that. And then shortly after that, I reached out to Brian and said, hey, I'm interested in doing live streams. And next thing I know, Brian did that first one on his channel. I think the original plan was just to for me to have an idea of what it's like to do a real live stream. He talked to me about the StreamYard technology we use for our live streams and everything, and kind of wanted me to walk me through one on his channel. And then the next week we were going to do one on my channel. I think it's kind of what the plan was. And next thing you know, Brian's got like Cayman on here and Greg, and just I think we had 6 or 7 people on there that night. A lot of people that many of you recognize, and a couple that maybe you don't, but it was a wild thing, and we had a good time with it. And the next week we did one on my channel, and then we did one right before the conference, I think a night or two before the conference. And then we got to the conference, and we'd only done a couple of them. Thanks, guys. I appreciate those super chats there. And also Joseph Rawls, appreciate it, Joey. Thanks for sending that super chat to me. I really appreciate it. It really helps out.
Greg did 1999, so I had to do 20.
That's on the phone. It won't let you do it on the phone.
The phone, you can't type it in. It just scrolls it up.
Yeah, so that's what that is. Yeah, but you did one up and buy a penny. So anyway, I appreciate it, guys. But anyway, so we went to the conference in Sevierville, and it's like people kind of recognized who we were, and we'd only done a couple or 3 of these things. And so we decided, like Greg said, we're just going to go ahead and roll with it and just see what we can do. And that's how it all started. And it wasn't long after that, Greg, I can't remember exactly when it happened, but I think you were the one that mentioned Stream Team. Why don't you tell a little story about, Greg, about how you came up with that name? I didn't realize it until you told the story fairly recently. How'd you come up with that name, Stream Team?
It was, I think I've got a video back on our channel where I kind of go into the details there. But in short, I was in let's see, that would have been.
He was at his urologist.
We first off, I know if this is your first night tuning in to the stream team chat, we're really sorry to disappoint you, but we are not urologists, and we didn't play one on TV. So if you're looking for help in those streaming areas, this is not probably your channel, or you know what, this probably is your channel, because you just never know what we're going to talk about. But I was on a little. Sometimes these sneaky little phones, man, they kind of just pull you in, and it's so smart. It knows what it thinks you want to see. And so I think I was on like somebody had posted like I don't know, greatest basketball player of all time or something, and it was Jordan it was clickbait. Jordan's a loser, and LeBron James, whatever it was. And I'm thinking, what? That's ridiculous. And so I clicked on it. Next thing you know, it's all these Jordan reels, right? So I'm watching all the greatest of Michael Jordan, things like that. Well, those videos escalated, and then it started going into the Olympic Dream Team from the 90s. And boy, that really caught my attention. Then I was up early in the morning, drinking my coffee, just kind of waking up like I do, watching these Olympic Dream Team basketball videos, but more importantly, the story behind the individual players. And that's an interesting thing on its own. But all of a sudden I'm sitting there, and I know we need to try to name this thing that we're the stream team thing, and dream team. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we should call it the stream team. And then so I had even worked up, and if you go all the way back to some of the early streams, if you've noticed, like the stream team logo has changed, how we all individually use that as a thumbnail has changed. And so some of the art has changed along the way. Some of the very early ones, if you look, it's a lot of red, white, and blue, kind of modeled like the dream team typography was. So anyways, you never know where inspiration is going to come from. But right there it is. Now we even have stickers, and look at this. Coffee mugs with the brand new limited edition Be the Lighthouse logos here too. If you're going to be at Hive Life, come by the booth and check those out too. But anyways, isn't that crazy how you think that there are no coincidences. Brian has one of the original. You had to be a podcast guest to get that one. Yep, Brian's got one. So it's funny how these things. I don't believe in coincidences, and it's neat to look back. Oh, look at that! Bruce has the very limited edition podcast guest one as well. It's neat to think about the history. And oh wow, look at Bruce. Yep, he's got the Hive Life one. There you go. Nice. Anyway. But it's cool to look back in time. You look back, and all these they seem like little or throwaway things that happen, just little occurrences in life, all attach and are all threaded together in this tapestry. And there is so much divine orchestration within all of that. And here we find ourselves looking back 2 years later and saying, "Wow, can you believe that?" It's been 2 years. Bruce, as you look back, Bruce, on the last 2 years, what are some of the shining moments over the last 2 years with the Stream Team Beekeeping Chat?
Well, I think the biggest shining moment is just the community, seeing the comments in the comment section, and then meeting a lot of the people that we see every week in here, and both personally and through emails and through communication and through the actual chat. I think probably the crown jewel, or there's so many favorite moments, but when you and Mike and Randy came down, and we were able to meet with some local people here and just work bees and then have dinner. And then of course the convergence in September. But some of the highlights actually on the streams that we've done, the chats that we've done, are just, all the guests we've had on here. I really enjoy just talking bees, man. Like some of the folks we had are talking bees, and if I named everybody, I'd leave somebody out. But we've had some of the icons on here. We've also had some pop-ins where we have people who are just getting their channel started, or folks that may not be as well known. That those have been a lot of fun too, just getting to know everybody. But I think probably some of my favorite moments on the live chats here have been when we've talked about some real serious things. We had Jose on here, and we had Ian on here a little bit. Then we had, you when you lost your You lost so many of your, when the big storm came through and you had to pick up the pieces, and you shared that video with us. Those are some of my favorite moments. Just
Mhm.
talking about people, just real people, real beekeepers, just like everyone in these chats right here. And whatever the size of your operation is, there's heartbreak that goes with it. There's difficult things. It's hard work, and you have loss, and then you have gains, you have success, and just being able to discuss all those things and help come together as a community and just get through difficult times together, I think has been part of some of my favorite parts of this chat. And I think one thing that I like about it is we've kind of set our part a little bit there. Stream Team itself it's a fun name, but when you add a beekeeping chat to it, that kind of, I think, separated us from maybe some other quote unquote stream teams out there for different topics. And it's just been a lot of fun to just get to know you guys better. I really consider you guys to be probably two of my best friends right now that I have on the planet. And it's just, there's this chemistry, this relationship that we developed along with, everyone, there's an extension of us whenever folks are on here watching. And, we always joke about how it's just the three of us or just whoever the guest is, or just four of us, but really it's everybody in here is part of this team and this community. It's just been a blessing, man. I could have never imagined, what it would turn into. And I didn't even know you guys, 2 years ago. Tomorrow night was the first time I ever really talked to you guys really in person, as far as like in a chat like this. And it was just a phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
How
Brian,
about
what
you,
about
Brian?
you, Brian? What's been some of the shining moments that over the last 2 years of the Stream Team Beekeeping Chat that you can look back on and say, wow, that was awesome?
Yeah. There's so many. It blows me away though when, like, I look at the list of speakers that are going to be at the expo, and it's like, well, we've spoken to her, spoken to him, met, so that's really something that's just blown me away is how the community has gotten connected, and the convergence. But I tell you, one moment that it's only the three of us
Yeah.
really know what happened. It's when we shared that meal the Friday night, before the convergence. That was that really was something, set aside from, the phones went away. It was just the three of us kind of sitting there, and like Bruce said, it's just, you think about the friendships that we now have, you know, that was a good moment there. So, but yeah, the community, it's so hard to say, like, in our streams, gosh, like this, this certain specific stream jumps out to me because there's been so many, like, just great moments that we've had, you know. Um, yeah, it's amazing. And like going into this year, um, I think we'll probably have a little bit more, I know I'll have more time just to interact with the folks that, tune in every week, this year, just because I'll be there for more than like 8 hours this year. But it's amazing seeing the community connected like it is. It is. Cayman, like we've said, Cayman kind of started this movement, and then, it's almost like when Bruce reached out, and like you were reaching out to Bruce just to set up an interview, it all kind of fit. And there had to have been some type of, like we've said, some type of greater power that just kind of lined us up at that right moment. And it's been amazing to see this community. And every week when we're on, you look at the chat even, and how many friends now are in the chat. That to me is just, it's wonderful. So
Yeah. I just, it's a unique thing to be able to have, um, more than one person, whether it's two or three or more, that just really seem to feed off of each other, to kind of, everything just works. It's just kind of crazy, the chemistry that we have on these chats. And
mhm.
I think our personalities are different. We all have different type operations. We all kind of manage our bees a little bit differently. And then we, of course, with the contribution of the viewers and guests we've had, it just goes, it just works, man. And it's just a cool moment, a cool vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Greg, what about you, man?
It's hard to think of a couple moments. I think when I think of the stream team, for me, it kind of gets it breaks off into, I think, three categories. We've got the three of us aspect of it, where our friendship over time has just continues to deepen and be more meaningful. And I think that's special when you have you put several, two or more gathered, especially when we when we share the same beliefs with our faith, but also the passion that we have for bees. Those two things are kind of brought together. That dynamic is just incredible, and it's really hard to put that into words. But what I really appreciate is the kind of friendships that have developed by us just simply and humbly sharing, who we are, what it is that we're trying to do. And I think that makes some lasting impact with not only us three individually, but with the community at large. So the first aspect that I think of is the three of us, how that has been such a great impact to my life, to the farm, us as the stream team. I also look at it as the community as a whole. There are thousands and thousands of folks who are checking out these streams, and it's a part of their weekly walk. It is such an honor for me, for us, all three of us, to be a part of someone's life where they miss you when you're gone. They appreciate you when you're there, and you're making a difference in their walk, whether that's with beekeeping, just being the best version of you, what that might look like walking out with your faith. The three of us are comfortable in our own skin, where we can share our journeys, we can share who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it with folks. And I think that's important, and that matters for the community at large. And the kind of comments and response that we get is just, it's overwhelmingly, it's a beautiful thing. So the community aspect of it is so incredibly fulfilling, the kind of response that we do get just by humbly doing what it is that we feel that we're called to do. The third aspect, I think, and each of these would have their shining moments, but I'm kind of categorizing what the stream team kind of means to me. The third is when we go beyond the veil of the screen, and we go beyond the veil of the comments and all those things, and we get into the opportunities that we are blessed in life to actually be face to face, where we can break bread, when we can actually fellowship. And so there have been a lot of opportunities, like Bruce had mentioned, when we came down to visit in Alabama, and we visited some folks down in Tennessee along the way. Being able to take time away to meet the community and actually shake their hand, break bread and fellowship is such a beautiful thing. One of the big shining moments on the community aspect this year was here at the Creator Convergence here at Nature's Image Farm, where a lot of YouTube creators and manufacturers flew on short notice from all over the country to be here, to be a part of what it is that we're doing here at Nature's Image Farm, what we're doing for the Learning Yard, for our local folks here, for our military veterans, but also to be here to collaborate, to be able to throw ideas around, whether it's a YouTube or a content creator or a product creator. And then we were able to bring into the fold our Learning Yard folks into that mix. To me, that was just, what a beautiful moment, and to have all these things kind of coalesce in one space right here at the farm, where we can break bread and spend time with each other. To me, that was definitely one of the big highlights. It's hard to lump everything else, but the kind of the caliber of and I don't mean just beekeepers, but the quality of individuals that we've been to have on all of our three streams, who feel that they want to be a part of this, and it's important, is absolutely amazing. To me, it doesn't matter if you run 3,000 hives or you're running 3 hives. I'm interested in the heart and the mind of the beekeeper, and I think that's where we all can learn so much from each other. So I guess the other shining moment would be what we're all able to learn from each other by just humbly and honestly sharing what it is that we do, that as we walk this thing out called life, and how bees fit into it. And I think that's one of the most shining moments, is feeling that it's okay and have the freedom to be able to express not only what beekeeping means to us, but how beekeeping fits into our daily walk.
You know, when I titled this video, I thought long and hard about it. I kept trying to put things in there that sounded right, and I've got it's called vidIQ. It's a YouTube thing that kind of helps me, and it gives suggestions for titles. And I finally came up with a pretty good title, and then it kind of corrected a little bit to make it a little better, you know, by analytics or whatever. And the Stream Team's Epic 2-Year Journey. And then Bees, Christmas, and Memorable Moments. Well, I think the epic 2-year journey is really what we're talking about right here. It's just been a special couple of years, and hopefully we can keep it rolling and keep it growing, and just keep hopefully having a positive impact on the world. And I must say that, you know, we're trying to have a positive impact between the three of us and our guests and everybody, but really the positive impact obviously is a friendship with you two guys, but also, I mean, I've learned a lot from the people in these comments, you know, the people that view our videos, the people that comment on our live streams. You know, I look at so many folks who have been great supporters, and I really hate to name people because I'm going to leave somebody out. So I don't want to do that, but I see them right here in the stream right now. So many people that are just such great supporters of the channel. And you know, and of all three of our channels actually, and of this thing we're doing. And man, it's just, I mean, I couldn't imagine. And I think it's also hopefully helped each of us in our own individual businesses and our own individual, what we're trying to do in our operations. And I just think it's been a positive thing all the way around. And hopefully we've been able to help everyone, you know, the folks that watch, help them out as well. Man, we just had some incredible guests, some incredible just experiences. I mean, there's no way we could go back and review everything, all the positive events and positive experiences. We've been a little corny, a little crazy sometimes. It's been a lot of fun, but we've also talked about some very serious topics.
Right.
And we've just talked about bees. I think we've kind of come to some conclusions we didn't expect to come to, discussing different things and different products. And it's been kind of fun. But I don't know if there's any favorite moments anyone has from our stream teams. I've seen a couple of people put them in here. Just throw them in the comments. We'll see if we can discuss that.
Yeah, we'll see if we can highlight them. If you've got a favorite moment or something that you've learned from these chats that has really helped you with your beekeeping walk, definitely leave them in all caps in the comments here. We'd like to take a look at those for sure. That's probably one of the most rewarding things, is when someone reaches out, or you see in the comments where, hey, I saw this video, or hey, you guys talked about this. I did it, and oh my gosh, it worked awesome. Thanks. That's so rewarding to get those kind of those comments.
Here's a comment right here from, of course, Brian has become one of my close friends. He lives here in Alabama. I've gone to a football game up at Troy with him. He's come down and worked bees with me. Just become a really great friend. You know, it's been awesome. But he says, I bought one of Terry's jackets and love it as well. You know, just kind of putting people in the comment section together with vendors like, you know, Terry is a great man. He creates a great product and really is concerned about customer service. And we got so many other companies, you know, like Rob from Lobbies has been a big supporter, you know, Premier Bee Products, and just so many other people. We can't go down and list everybody.
The list gets long, which is,
there's been so many people that we've been able to kind of have on here, talk about different products, different things. And just, it's been great. But there was a comment a little while ago that popped up. Before we go to that, I'd like to just recognize everyone and appreciate your super chats. Joey Rawls, Greg, Brian, David Lewis, thank you for the super chat there. Ed, son of one, lives right here close to me. Steve Amos has been a great supporter of the show for I guess, I don't know about the whole time, maybe so, but for a long, long time. Brian Bennett, thanks so much. Trying to highlight folks here. But this is a comment I really want to bring up right here. This was a recent video I watched. I'm not sure what Central Kentucky Bees, what your name is, but I do know that, you know, he's got a channel up there, obviously in Kentucky, and he had lost a hive and was a little discouraged about it, I think. And I just, you know, I think I sent him a link to one of my videos that I had a real bad loss. It was really just a devastating loss back a few years ago. Beautiful colony full of bees, and they starved to death. And I didn't realize it had this impact, but he says, Bruce doesn't know it, but he unwillingly kept my spirits up on the bees. In one of my videos, I suffered a loss of a colony that was directly my fault. He posted a link on my video of loss that you had, and then he followed it up with, that showed me the right then that I couldn't quit and needed to keep moving forward. Everyone suffers some kind of loss. When it was 100% my fault, it hit different. Thanks, Bruce. And so, you know, I know there's a lot of folks out there in YouTube world, people like, Dirt Rooster, Randy, that watch, we watch the videos of those folks out there that are struggling a little bit. Those folks that are just getting started with their bees or with their channels. And you may not realize it, but I watch a lot of videos. Stuff comes across my feed all the time by people that may just have just a very few subscribers. One example of those is Connor over in Israel. He's got his channel started this year. He's got a wartime series he's doing right now, beekeeping during a wartime. It's very interesting. You can hear the jets flying overhead, and he'll say, "Oh my gosh," and he'll be like, "I think they're going to support the troops in the Gaza Strip," and things like that. And so, we notice, and I'm not saying that I see all the channels, but I do try to pay attention, especially something like this. I could tell from the title that this YouTuber was having a hard time, and so I'll watch the video, and I don't comment. I can't comment on everybody's video, but I think it's important that we all kind of support each other. Us three, and then everybody in the comment section here. Just don't hesitate to reach out, and even if you don't have a YouTube channel, you're not making videos, just comment on people, subscribe to their channels, support them. Because it is a very important community. And if it's something you like when you watch it, just let them know about it. Even if it's like, "Hey, I like the video, I appreciate what you're doing," or new subscribe, whatever you can mention to them, that really helps give people a lot of confidence, and it helps build them up. And that's what we're trying to do here. So anyway, man, what a couple of years it's been.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I saw Marianne Sears.
Oh yeah,
question there.
Awesome.
Just about the schedule and that. I have 3 times confirmed with individuals. Like I have all the names confirmed, but as far as time slots and that, I'm trying to work out like when people are speaking, if they want to see a speaker. So I'm just getting all that set, but I'll have within the next week, I'll have times of when, we're going to be meeting with everybody, and it'll be on our Facebook group. So, but so far, Cayman's going to, he's going to be meeting with us later on Thursday. So, that's probably the best time to talk to him, just because if we got him on Saturday, he probably wouldn't be able to hold a conversation because he probably won't have a voice. So Cayman's going to be the last one on Thursday. And then so far on Friday, we've got Cameron Jack in the morning, and then Marla Spivak, it will be late afternoon. So those are the ones that are definitely set. But I just want everybody to know that once I get that all set and confirmed, I can post it on my community page also. But then look at the Facebook group also. So, and I'm sure we'll have something there, at the Stream Team booth, just with that schedule. So if you do, if you happen to miss it from now until then, just swing by, and then at least you'll know what time. If there's a certain person that you want to catch, you'll know when they'll be there.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, I thought, we just take a few minutes to talk about, first of all, bees. And then we talked about, our last 2 years, but I wanted to kind of, start moving in a different direction right now. I'd like to talk just a little bit about Christmas. And last week, Greg, we were on Brian's channel, and we kind of had a good time talking about favorite songs, favorite movies, about Christmas, and kind of some things like that. But I'd like to kind of more talk about the true meaning of Christmas tonight, if we could, a little bit. But first of all, maybe go around the horn a little bit and maybe talk about your favorite Christmas tradition, or possibly your favorite Christmas memory that you might have. Obviously, we've all been on this planet for a few years, so we've all had a lot of memories and a lot of experiences. But Greg, how about you? What are maybe what's maybe one of your favorite Christmas traditions or memories that you have, or maybe one of each?
Yeah, one of my favorite memories goes back to being just a youngster, and Christmas Eve, Christmas services. It was just there was just something about gathering as a kid, of course, you're as a kid, you're balancing through yes, we're to understand what the true meaning of Christmas is. And yes, we think Santa Claus is coming in the morning. And so evening is exciting. As a youngster, when I look back though, those Christmas Eve Christmas services, the Christmas Eve service was so special, that it's just, I look back and it's hard to explain the feeling, of being in church celebrating the true meaning of Christmas, that it made such an impact on me that even to this day, I can close my eyes and I can see the old country church and the small aisle down the center, wood pews on either side, and just the very modest decorations at the church, the beautiful song services before Grandpa's up there preaching, doing what he does. But it's such a special time that is forever in my memory bank, that it's just, for me, that is just, it's such a unique experience. We're looking forward to going to Christmas Eve service here this year, as well. So in my mind, there's this, and I think a lot of folks with kids are constantly struggling through this, the commercialized Christmas versus the true meaning of Christmas. Where do we find the line? Where do we balance all this thing out? You have one side of the equation where you have people that are so far on one side of it to where you've seen the memes where the little present that the kid is opening up for his very first Christmas says, Santa Claus isn't real. Welcome to the real world. And it's like, okay, that's one approach. And then there's the other approach where Christ is completely left out of Christmas. And it's his namesake. And it's all about Santa Claus. And it's all about the Christmas tree and the presents and going into debt to show somebody how much you love them. It's crazy. So this year, and also in years past, we have 7 kids, Susan and I do. And so it's not so much a financial decision to say, hey, we don't need to spend $500 or $700 or $1,000 on each kid for them to know how much that we love them. We want to get them a little bit of something, but every year it's important that we continue the tradition of making sure that the kids truly understand the true meaning of Christmas, and let them understand that we want them to feel and understand that it is better to give than to receive. And so we try to make things really modest at home, not to rob our kids of the joy of commercialized Christmas, but to reinforce and to really solidify the true meaning of Christmas. And I think that is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to not only our kids, but our family, is to understand that Christ was born, and that is our future hope. And for us, that's what Christmas means to us. And that's kind of what our Christmas season revolves around. Sure, I'll go around and I love all the Christmas songs, and we understand, we appreciate that. But when it gets right down to it, we make sure that as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, and Christ is the reason for Christmas. And so that's kind of how we roll here at the Burns household. Brian, what are a couple traditions or favorite memories that you have?
Oh man,
Christmas past.
One of the things that my dad's mom, my grandma Coper, she always took my brother and I to. It's a greenhouse actually. It's in Pennsylvania. It's out little bit east of Sharon, Pennsylvania, close to like Hermitage. It's called Craniacs, and they always set up a Christmas tree, kind of set up, and it's one side of like the greenhouse, and then they have like all the toys and stuff too. Of course, I mean, they want to lure the kids in, but they have all sorts of different decorations and little like animatronics and all that kind of stuff, and I still go there to this day. Every year my wife and I go out to Craniacs, and and we always go over and we'll get like one or two new ornaments every year, but we get kind of like old style. We don't get like the new kind of stuff. We like a lot of the old style ornaments and that. So that's something that I always look forward to every year. But like I said last week too, it's as soon as November hits and that radio station they flip over to the Christmas music, it's just on every year, you know. But like you said too, I mean, I enjoy going to the service. This year, because Christmas Eve is on Sunday, unfortunately, this weekend, Tara has to work. So the latest service, I might go earlier in the day, but the last service they're having is at 3 o'clock, just because it's on Sunday, and Tara works till 2:30, so she won't be able to go. So I might go earlier, just go with either my son or my daughter. But like you said, I mean, people put so much pressure on, you know, they just want to commercialize everything with this holiday. And it's not really that, if you step back and understand the reason for this holiday, it's not so you can go and get the latest. Gosh, I'm going to sound old. I was going to say iPod. I don't even know if they have those anymore, you know. But it's not so you can get the latest iPod or whatever it is. It's figure out what the reason is, you know. But I do enjoy though the gift giving. I do love that. I mean, I can't wait. My wife knows I am horrible when it comes to, I'll get someone like that perfect gift and it just itches at me the entire time. And I'm already, I think I already said one of the gifts that I got my son, and man, I cannot wait for him just to open it, but it's that gift giving there that I like, and yeah, this is a special holiday, you know, but yeah, I enjoy it, and I think probably, gosh, the Craniacs going out there and looking at those Christmas trees, that's something that even like for my grandkids, I'm going to do that. I just have to, because I've been going there. Oh my gosh. It's probably been 47 or 48 years. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Bruce, what about you?
That's a tradition.
Yeah.
Well,
some fun traditions or memories that you have Christmas past?
Gosh, I mean, like all of you guys, there are so many. I've in the recent years I've become somewhat Scroogey because of exactly what you talked about, Greg, the commercialization of everything. And personally, I just like to focus on just slowing down a little bit, focus on the real reason, the Savior Jesus Christ, that he came in the world for us. Without Christmas, there would be no Easter. And so it's just I can't imagine what that was like when that took place, when the star appeared, and when, I just get emotional when I think about it. There's a couple of videos that I'm aware of. One is called The Christ Child, that just brings it home. You almost feel like you're there, and the power of that opportunity, that experience. But it's just with all the craziness in the world right now, the peace that can be brought. Christmas can, instead of being a chaotic and crazy time, it can be a very peaceful time. And if we really remember what it's about. And so I prefer to just to give and to share and to listen to the beautiful Christmas hymns. And I enjoy the fun Christmas songs. They're okay too, but the songs like "Oh Holy Night" and "Silent Night" and songs like that are just, they just hit me to the very core. And that's what I really enjoy the most. And the older I get, the less I care about the commercial aspect of things, and the more I care about just the peace that you can receive through the season. Of course, traditions, we did all the things. We did the Christmas tree, we had Santa came and all that stuff. And we had some traditions here in my family with my kids, where we had a Christmas breakfast on Christmas morning, and it was, my wife cooks really well. And so we after we ate, the kids we closed off my living room so they couldn't get in there. And then we were done eating, we made them wait. And then they were able to, we put some, Christmas paper up so they couldn't. We've got an open door into the living room, but they couldn't see, and then they bust through that, go to their gifts, and enjoy Christmas morning. So stuff like that, just fun stuff. But we always tried to bring the real Christmas story into it as well. The giving aspect of Christmas there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's okay.
Mhm.
You think about the wise men. The story goes that they brought the gifts that they brought, the gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and so they brought it to Christ, and they offered it up to him as their king, the little baby laying there, or the young child that was there. And so there's nothing wrong with giving, and Santa Claus, the idea behind that is giving as well. We know that it's not a biblical thing, Santa Claus and all this, and a lot of these things aren't biblical. However, if the spirit is right, if it's about giving and sharing and loving, it's okay. Anything that has to do with those things, I think, is from the right source. But if it becomes about who's going to get more, if it becomes about the commercial aspect of things, then that's where it crosses that line. In my opinion, that's my opinion. Some people may disagree, but I had the opportunity this morning to listen to a podcast. It's called Unshaken Saints, and the guy, this message obviously was Christmas for this week, and he talked about the song "Oh Holy Night," and he talked about the English edition of it, and then the original version was French. He broke down the song in the two different languages and the beautiful meaning behind each of the words in that song, and it really touched me to the core about how powerful that song is, and so many others. If we'll just take our time to sit back and listen and feel, we can truly enjoy the spirit of Christmas. And so, it's lots of traditions, lots of fun, beautiful times. It's all about love and peace and giving. And let's be on that side of things as opposed to the commercial aspect where folks go to Walmart and they fight over a computer or something like that. That's just ridiculous. That's just not what Christmas is about. So anyway, but I kind of that's kind of what I wanted to do tonight. Everyone's busy this time of the year. We didn't want to do a long chat tonight. We wanted to keep it around an hour or a little bit more. We appreciate all the comments, everyone who's been on here, and man, what a wonderful 2 years it's been. There was just wanted to look over here real quick. Thanks, Catherine, thanks, JW Irwin, for the super chat. Catherine, thank you as well for the super sticker. Kenneth Bach, thank you for your super chat as well. We did have a question from Lester Toklo, and Lester, going to ask you to come back, next time and maybe ask that question when we're spending a little more time on bees. I think tonight we just wanted to kind of end this thing off talking about Christmas. You got a little time. You're a new beekeeper there. You got a little time to before spring, and so let's just bring that question back to us next time, and we'll be sure to try to answer that. But we're going to show a video at the end of this as we go out. It's different than our traditional video. I'm probably going to need to, because of copyright issues, I may need to kind of trim it off shortly after the video is over, but I'll put the link to it in the description. So for those who may be watching this after the fact, you can go back and watch it on there. It's a YouTube video, just something really cool that happened in New York City. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to finish that up. But really appreciate you guys being in here. Appreciate you too on this chat, all of our friends, all of our guests, and all the viewers that we have both on our individual channels and as a stream team. We appreciate you guys. And Greg, can you bring it home for us?
Well, Bruce, Brian, 2 years, there's not, even I don't have enough words to fully get the point across. It's been a special time these last 2 years. The folks who we have met, even in comment threads, that end up being folks who you break bread with, folks that you now call friends. It is such an honor and a blessing, Brian and Bruce, to have you in our life, but also everyone listening and a part of this beekeeping chat. While you may feel like you don't matter or you're insignificant, you are truly special to all of us here at the stream team. The comments showing your support any way that you can, like the honeybee is the hive, we're better together, and it really does make such a difference. And there is so much that we can do as a whole, and I think that's evident as the last 2 years. The folks that we've had on, the impact that we've made just by humbly sharing what it is that we're doing with our bees, why it's important, how that fits into our life is a special. It's a special honor, and I want everyone listening to this to know that from Bruce, Brian, and me, we consider this a great honor to be in front of you, to spend time with you, sharing who we are, what we do, why we do it. So we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here with us for 2 years. Looking forward to another 2 years or longer, and see where this thing goes, what the plan is for us. But exciting. We're looking forward to seeing everybody here soon at the B Expo. Be sure to stop by booth 200. Come say hi to Brian and Bruce and myself at the Nature's Image Farm booth. We'll have the Stream Team Beekeeping Chat. We'll be there, and we'll be recording some content with some of the folks that we had mentioned earlier. We'll have that posted. It's going to be a great time. Really looking forward to that fellowship. For me, it is for some. It's some go for lots of different reasons. For me, this B Expo is a homecoming, and it's an amazing time where it's just a huge family all coming home to break bread, to fellowship, to be a part of each other's lives, and that is truly a special thing. As we head into the Christmas season, I would encourage folks to just spend the time to reflect and appreciate the true meaning for this season. As we've all mentioned and have been open and honest with our beliefs on this, is Jesus is the reason for the season, and Christ is the greatest gift that any of us can receive, and is also one of the greatest gifts that we can help pass on to other folks. Knowing Christ is to know peace, and peace is one of the greatest gifts we as men can know on this earth. So I want to remind folks that Jesus is the reason for the season. We want to thank you guys for spending 2 years with us, spending tonight with us, and we look forward to meeting with you again on the next Stream Team Beekeeping Chat. And until we meet again, we want to remind you to be the lighthouse and be the change you want to see in this world. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Merry Christmas.